So if we haven't met, I'm Jennifer Elliott, and this is VinYin, opening the heart and finding our back bend. So let's begin. I'm going to start in a 2-block heart opener. If you have 2 blocks, go ahead and set that up. If you don't have 2 blocks, you could do this with maybe a bolster behind you or a couple of folded blankets. We'll use it for the second pose in sort of the same orientation. So grab whatever you've got. So we're going to come into that 2-block heart opener or whatever has worked for you. So elbows down. Take a moment here to lift and expand your chest. We're just trying to already encourage the back body to press into the front body. Shoulder blades moving towards the chest. Turn the palms open. Knees bent is really nice for the lower back, so it's good to sort of already start with that TLC here. Close the eyes and just take a few moments to check in. How are we feeling today? You might know that right away, or you might have to investigate. So the way we investigate a lot of times is just observing the breath. If you're holding the breath or you're at the top of the breath, maybe you're stressed or maybe just not present. But if you're at the bottom of the breath or that breath feels real relaxed, then you're more present or more relaxed. So just notice, or maybe you're somewhere in between, that's fine. But let's start by taking a nice full inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, let it out. And again, in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it out. In through the nose. Hold at the top. Sip a bit more breath in through the nose. Sip a bit more breath in. Open the mouth and let it out. In through the nose. And out the nose. In through the nose, slow and even. And out. Let your breath take on its own pattern now. Reach the arms overhead and do what you'd like. You can interlace hands, you can clasp elbows. I always yawn. It's just a nice way to check in. Bring the arms overhead. Change the interlace. Find your breath. And then release your arms. So if you have props behind you, we're going to leave them there, but we're just going to gently shift to our right side and press ourselves up. So my props are still behind me. I flattened them out, so they're going to be on their flatter side. My legs are in deer, so they're staggered. I'm going to turn so that I'm facing the back of my mat, hands on either side of my props, and pulling the chest to the back of the room. And I feel okay, so I'm going to extend that top leg, that left leg back, so that I can get a little bit more into the front hip. Pull the chest forward, find length here, and then see if you can come down onto your forearms. Now you can simply just sort of rest as you are, or you can take this block or bolster and rest it under the belly or under the forehead. So take a couple of breaths here in this twist, whatever that looks like for you. Keep pulling the torso to the right. Just take a few breaths into the upper back. Press up, walk the hands back. Turn to face the front of your mat and just keep turning so that your left hip is against the prop or facing the back. The legs are staggered, so one leg almost looks like a pigeon, the other one like a reclined hero. Turn so that you're facing the back of your mat and pull your chest towards the back. That might be plenty. Or you can set up your props as you bring yourself down onto your forearms. Keep pulling the chest through and take a couple of breaths here. Again, if you can, take this top leg back a little bit so we can get into that nice front right thigh. Couple of breaths. If these twists don't feel right for you, any twist is fine. We're not here too long. Slide the hands back. Find your way back to center. And then let's come to hands and knees. So take a few moments finding your way to hands and knees. You know you want any props for underneath your knees. Grab your blanket or whatever you have. And just start moving through some cat-cows. I'll join you in just a moment. So from your table pose, hands and knees, spread wide through the fingers. Take an inhale, pull the chest through as you lift the navel in and up. Exhale, round, press into the palms and into the shins. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, round spine. One more. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, and round. Now press all the way back, hips to heels. Gaze up, walk the hands off the right side of the mat. So just a nice angle over to the right. Keep your hands shoulder width. And then take your right arm behind your back. Palm faces the ceiling, or can you tuck into the left hip crease? Forehead down. Lift your right shoulder head without lifting your head. Take a couple breaths here. Feel like this is really working your upper right shoulder and the back body. And then walk your right hand back. Hands over to the left side. Reach out, find length. Fold. See if you can take your left arm behind the back. Maybe tuck into the hip crease. Lift your left shoulder without lifting your head. So keep your torso where it is, and just the left shoulder head lifts. Release. Walk your hands back. Sit upright. If it's okay, have a seat on your feet. If not, sit on your props. And then go ahead and take your strap and loop it. And I think I've already looped mine, so it's about shoulder width. So I'm sliding it over my elbows. It's about that shoulder width. And I'm just going to slide it behind me over the wrists. So the strap goes behind. If you don't have a strap, you can interlace hands. Roll the shoulder heads back. Lift the chest, and then take a nice forward fold. Stop yourself at halfway. We're not trying to raise the arms just yet. Just gaze down. Lift the shoulder heads without lifting the head. Keep those arms reaching back. Forehead might come down as you reach the arms up, but work the shoulders back. Really engage those triceps. Pinky fingers are reaching towards the wall behind you. In this case, the wall behind you is towards your head. And then lead with your heart. Slowly come back up. Release your strap if you had it. Let's find our way to downward facing dog. When you get to down dog, pedal out the feet. Find that subtle movement. Take the right leg, lift it up to the height of the hip, which is usually where we stop. We're going to go a little further today. So keep letting the leg lift until the hip naturally wants to open. Press through the palms, bend your top knee, push your foot behind you. Try to keep your chest square even though you're pressing the foot back. And then straighten the legs, square out the hips, set it down. Left leg, lift it up, stop it halfway just so you can feel the difference. Then continue to take it up. As the hip opens, let it. Bend your knee, push your foot behind you, but can you square your shoulders towards the floor? Find your breath. Straighten legs, square out the hips, and set it down. Tip yourself forward into plank. Top of your push-up. Root into your palms. Lift your thigh bones, navel in, heart forward. Tip forward on toes or knees. Lower all the way down to your belly. Hands under elbows, reach back through the toes. Inhale, the chest lifts. Low cobra, and release. Inhale, lift the heart, navel to, and release. Inhale, lift the heart, slide under the forearms for Sphinx. So press firmly into your palms. Push into the tops of the feet so much that the knees and the shins lift. So back bends are all about the legs. If your legs are lazy, you're going to feel this in your lower back. So push into the feet. Make your legs strong, navel in, and support your back. Pull the chest through, widen through the collarbones. Keep the legs super active as you lower the chest. Hands next to the side body. Lift the shoulder heads, lift the heart. You can stay in cobra or press into the palms, press into the feet, and lift up dog. Anytime today you can take this. Get into the legs. Downward facing dog and breathe. All right. Take a moment here, just check in. Inhale, the right leg lifts halfway this time. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Pull the knee up the high to the chest. Stay where you are. Inhale, just the right leg back in sort of that three-legged plank. Exhale, the knee towards the left arm. Inhale, just the leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Press into the palms and step your foot next to the right thumb. Drop the back knee down. Pat it if you need. We're going to see if we can keep those back toes tucked under so we can drive back through the heel. Feel that more in the front thigh. Hands go to the hips, thumbs at the lower back. You're going to draw the sacrum down. Hold your hips down and try to lift up out of your lower pelvis. Shoulder heads back, lift the chest. And if it feels okay for you, press through the back heel and come up into a higher version of your lunge. Root down through that tailbone. Lift up through the left hand. Reach, navel in, and consider crossing elbow over knee. You can also do this with the knee down. Just explore. Try to open up through that right shoulder head. Pick up the back leg a little higher. Maybe palms meet, but don't force anything here. Unwind slowly, hands down. Look forward, inhale. Exhale, lift the hips and tip it back. Inhale forward, lead with the chest. Exhale back. Okay, find your way to your lunge, step to plank. Pause here. Tip forward, lower halfway chaturanga. Can you hold 2 breaths? 1, 2. Maybe you can push the toes back. Flip over the toes. Some days my mat doesn't want to be slippery. I don't know about you. Lift the chest and then downward facing dog. All right. Take your left leg, lift it to the height of the hip. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Stay in your plank. Inhale the leg back. Exhale the knee to the right arm. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step the foot next to the left thumb tip. Release the back knee down. Press out through the back heel. Bring yourself up. Hands at your lower back. So you're using your thumbs to draw the tail down, but we don't want to tuck it under. We're just lengthening it. And then you're lifting up out of your waist. Shoulders back. Press out through the back heel. Find your breath. Try to draw those elbows closer to one another if you can. Right arm lifts up. Press out through the back heel. Can you rise? It's just optional now. And then maybe slowly twist. Elbow, outer knee. Lengthen the spine. Roll the shoulder head open. You can stay or press the palms. Maybe I can press the palms. Pick up that back leg a little higher. Slowly unwind. Hands down, hinge back, stretch the hamstrings, and just find a little movement. Inhale, lunge, exhale, back. All right. So find your way to plank. See if my mat is a little bit more slippery on this round. Tip forward, lower chaturanga. See if you can just push, scrub your toes back as you flip over them. Up dog, navel and push into the feet. Down dog. All right, let's breathe here. Take a few breaths. Just set it up. See how you're feeling. Feet together. High to your toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Hands to your hips. Lead with your heart. Come all the way to stand. And release. Arms by your sides. Okay, let's get ready. Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salute A. So top of the mat, feet come together, sliver of space between the heels. The thigh bones press back. The navel lifts up. This is all for your lower back. Arms by your sides. Inhale, arms rise any way you'd like. Palms press, navel in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Yogi's choice. Take your vinyasa. We'll meet in down dog, however you arrive. Let's take 5 breaths here in down dog. Hands are shoulder width apart. Feet are hip width apart. Press firmly into the inner palms. Thigh bones press back. Take a moment here to find that balance between hands and feet, left and right. Stability and ease. Inhale, high to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky. Palms press. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, round 2. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, step or jump back. Vinyasa. We'll meet in down dog. Five breaths here. And just as I said, we would really work on strengthening the back side for our back bends. Why don't I really try to strengthen the front side? So look at your feet. Try to pick your toes up towards your shins. You might start to feel that in your shin muscles now. Micro bend your knees just a tad, no one else can tell, and try to lift your kneecaps up the leg and really engage those quads. Let's take another breath. High to your toes, bend your knees, step or hop. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky. Palms press. And exhale, hands to heart. Okay, 3 rounds on your own, Surya A. If you don't know it, just make it up. We'll meet in your 3rd down dog. Inhale and exhale. So start to connect your breath and movement. Back bends are interchangeable, so if up dog's not for you, take cobra or sphinx. We've got 5 breaths, 3 to 5 breaths in each down dog. We have 1 more round. We're going to meet in your next down dog. All right, hopefully you're getting warm. Meeting down dog, so however you get there, take this last salutation, or you can even just skip the vinyasa if you'd like and go right to down dog. So meet in down dog, find your way there. And then find your way to hands and knees. Okay, so this is my absolute favorite. You may not have a block, so if you don't have a block, you're going to pretend. So I'm going to do the pretend one first. So if you don't have a block, the leg is going to go behind you. You're going to slowly dig the heel to the bum, like you're on that machine at the gym. Remember when we used to be able to go to the gym? See if you can firm that heel in so you feel the hamstring working. If you don't have, or if you do have a block, let's use the block. Put the block between the Achilles and the bum. Point the toes up to lock that block in. Notice it's not smashed, but it's more bridging. So once you've got that block there, find your way up. In this little table pose first. And see if you can lift your knee to the height of the hip. It's a lot more work than maybe you're ready for or used to. If you lose that block, that's okay. It's pretty common. Pull the navel in, lift the knee a little higher. If you're able to maintain this and keep your block, tuck the left toes under and come up slowly into down dog. But keep lifting your knee even when you get to down dog. Breathe. Couple more breaths. Can you lift that knee higher? Use your glutes. And then slowly return. Okay, let's do the other side. Don't worry, we'll stretch out those hamstrings in a moment. So whichever one, with your block or pretend, point the toes up. And then take your time. So you might be lifting the knee, but is it as high as the hip? You might need to look back. If you're getting those little Charlie horses, don't worry, we will stretch them out. But some of that is because we don't use the hamstrings in this way. You might have been sitting all day, they might have been short, but are you really activating those muscles? Navel in, maybe tuck the right toes under, lift into down dog. Try to take the knee even higher. Breathe. And then slowly come back. Remove that block and down dog. Go slow and see if you can really feel that stretch in the belly of the hamstring muscles. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Anchor the back heel down and come on up. Warrior two. All right, so sink into your lunge. Take a moment to get yourself set up. So front heel intersects the back arch, back toes turn in. And even here, almost imagine like this front leg is those hamstrings in that last pose. Can you engage them? Can you feel like these muscle fibers are moving towards the center, the belly of the hamstring muscle? Arms are out to the sides. Give yourself just a couple of breaths here. Inhale, reverse. Left arm behind the back, just like we did in child's pose. Maybe tuck into the hip crease. And then exhale, elbow to the thigh. You can go deeper if you want. You can even bind. Roll the shoulders back. Find your breath. All right, so see where you're at here. Try to lengthen the side waist. Roll the shoulder head back, whether you're just in sort of this half wrap like I am or a full bind. Work the back body. Then I'm just going to reach down, hand to the floor or block. And let's step up, Ardha Chandrasana. Go slow. And then when you come up, take a little time to engage the right glutes. And then like we did with that block, can you slowly bend your top knee and reach back for the ankle. Press the foot into the hand. Pubic bone to the navel. That's a good stretch in the top leg. Maybe you have it too. All right, straighten up the top leg. Mindfully step back, warrior two. Take an inhale, reverse. Exhale to the floor. Come up onto the back toes. And then left hand remains. Bring your feet together if it feels okay to stack into side plank. Top arm high. Now you can stay here or bend the top knee, set the foot on the floor behind you, and use that to help lift your hips as you reach your right arm forward. Right hand back. Find plank, choose a flow, or go right to down dog. Breathe here. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Anchor the back heel down. Come on up, warrior two. Take a moment to set yourself up. Sink into your lunge. Get the hamstrings on that front leg to engage. I like to press more through the heel and almost feel like I'm pulling the heels towards one another to get that left leg involved. Inhale, reverse. Right arm to the small of the back. Exhale, elbow to thigh. Keep the half or full wrap. Roll the shoulders back. Find your breath here. Look down, see how slow you can move. You can kind of unwind, just take your time and find your way up into Ardha Chandrasana. Keep the top right hip slightly tipping forward. Any squaring comes of the chest, not of the hips. Bend the top knee, reach for the ankle, Shavasana. Press the foot into the hand and use your hamstrings. Try to engage that part of the body that was working when you had the real or imaginary block between the heel and the glutes. Straighten the leg, step back, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale to the floor. Right hand down, find your way into your side plank. And if you have the space, I don't know if I do, top foot on the floor behind you and lift. All right, bring it back. Choose a flow or go right to down dog. Now if you do up dog, take time here. I like to unlock the elbows, really press into the palms, draw the shoulder heads back, and try to really work into the back body. Downward facing dog. Find your breath. And simply walk your hands back towards your heels. Heel toe your feet together. Bend your knees, drop your seat, find chair pose. Utkatasana. Shift the weight back. So knees go back, but so does the weight into the heels. Hands to your heart, inhale. And exhale, slowly turn to the right, elbow over the knee. Pause there. Inhale, draw the heart through. Exhale, navel in to gently twist. You can stay or open the arms. Find your breath as always. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Inhale, come up to chair. Root to rise. Stand up with the right leg. All right, reach back for the right leg. You decide, hold inside or outside of that ankle. I'm gonna hold inside just because I want to explore that. Press the foot into the hand, lift the navel, stay, or tip it forward for King Dancer. Try to keep the hips square to the ground. Slowly return. Tadasana. Okay, how did we do? Whew. All right, sit back, chair. Hands to your heart. Take an inhale. Exhale, twist left, elbow over the knee. Inhale to pull the chest forward. Exhale, twist, open your heart to the left. Hug your inner thighs. Pull the spine long. Now you can stay, you can open the arms. I didn't say it on the first side, but arm bounce is always fine. And then find your way back to chair. Inhale, rise, bring the left leg with you. Find your balance and then kick it back. Reach for the ankle, you decide, hold the outside or inside. Just be deliberate, what do you choose? And then stay or tip it forward. Return, and Tadasana, always feels good. Inhale, sit back, chair. Sweep the hands behind you, interlace or hook thumbs. Lift your chest, exhale, forward fold. If you have any low back sensitivities, let these legs be about hip width. And then release the hands. Look up, walk forward, down dog. Right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step into the center of the hands, grab your blocks if you have them, and turn left. Okay, so once you're facing left, just hands on hips and come all the way up. This is another one of my favorites, but not everybody likes it. So if you have your blocks, grab your blocks. If you don't have your blocks, you can interlace hands or use the strap. But what I really like about the blocks is it really activates the triceps, just like we're trying to activate the hamstrings. So I'm going to turn just so you can see. So I want to have an open palm I don't want to grip this like a cloth. So I'm going to take the blocks behind me. Once I get my feet parallel for Parasarita, short sides of the blocks together. And then once I get here, I'm going to take my thumbs out, my fingers all point down, and I'm open palming the block. And I have my elbows bent so I can roll the shoulder heads back. All right, so firm the outer feet in. Lift the chest as you draw those arms down. Shoulder heads back. I don't know about you, these aren't even very heavy blocks, and I'm feeling the burn. So part of it is we don't use our triceps in this way as much. So lift your chest, double chin your head back. Whew, keep those blocks together, you might lose them. Arms out. Now this may be plenty, I'm feeling it. Or tip forward halfway. Ooh, are those triceps burning? Lean with your heart, maybe fold. Can you do it without dropping the blocks? I don't know. One more breath. Lower the hands to the floor. Nice job. Gaze up. You'll turn to the right and find your way back into a lunge. Okay, let's step to down dog. Whew. All right, what do we have for the second side? Left leg up. Inhale, exhale, step it forward. Turn to the right. Hands in the hips, lead with your heart and come upright. So hands behind you. You can do the same thing if you'd like, or make fists. Avoid grabbing elbows. That usually pulls one arm in a little bit more than the other. So make fists, or if you'd like, reverse prayer. Roll the shoulder heads open. So it doesn't really matter to me what the arms are doing, just that the shoulder heads are open. Lift your chest. Hug the outer ankles in. You can stay or tip forward. See if your feet can be on the same line. Shoulder heads draw back. Strong legs. Lift those kneecaps up. Two more breaths. Soften the hands to the ground, whatever you're doing. Come up halfway, turn to the left, you'll end up in a lunge. And step to downward facing dog. All right, take a few breaths here. I always come back to the breath. It's sort of like our palate cleanser, right? You come to the breath, you settle back in, see how you're doing. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step the foot next to the right thumb tip. I'm gonna move my blocks so they're handy if I want. And then I'm gonna take the back foot and move it over as I come on up for warrior one. Sink into your warrior one. Try to lift the navel. Pull the right hip back, left hip forward, and then sweep the hands behind you. You can interlace, you can grab your strap, whatever you'd like. Humble warrior one. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold to the inside of the knee or ankle. And then release your hands. Sweep them up, come back up. Warrior one. Come onto the back toes, crescent. Hands to your heart. Couple of breaths here. Can you lift the breastbone? Sort of feel this coiling of the upper back as you're trying to bend the back knees slightly so you can get that nice stretch on the front thigh. One more breath, maybe hands on hips. And then straighten up the front leg. Tip forward, go slow and with control. Place your hands on your blocks, and now we can step the back foot in to anchor it down. Parsvottanasana. Yogi's choice with the arms. I'm going to stay right where I am. It feels pretty nice in the hamstrings. But you could reach the hands forward or back. You could take a twist here. And then bend your front knee. Move the blocks out of your way. Hop back into down dog. Add a vinyasa if you want it. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step your foot next to your left thumb. Back foot moves up and over to the right. Come on up. Find your way into warrior one. Sink in. Hands behind you, interlace. Grab elbows, whatever works for you. Lift the chest. And exhale, forward fold. Move. So a lot of times the hip wants to go out to the side. Pull the left hip back. Draw the head down. Reach the arms up. And I caught myself. That back leg was lazy, so lift up the kneecap on that back leg. Slowly rise, come back up. Take your time. Come up onto the back toes. Sink into your high lunge, maybe hands on hips. Just work, yep, that front thigh. Straighten the front leg. Keep your legs nice and parallel. Tip forward, go slow. And I'm really pushing off of the back leg to help myself out here. Tip forward, hands on props, frame your foot. But now we want the heel to ground. So instead of drawing it down, I want to stay in my orientation. I'm going to boost the foot up. So we keep those legs nice and parallel. Arms are up to you. And then hop onto the back toes, move your blocks out of your way, and find down dog. Add that vinyasa if you'd like. Knees down, child's pose. And hopefully you're starting to notice down dog got really strong. Triceps when the arms are straight sort of help with this down dog. It's not about you, but I just really felt nice and sealed in there. So hopefully you felt that as well. Roll yourself up. Grab your strap that has that little shoulder width loop. If you don't have a strap, then just bring your arms into a shoulder width distance. So we're going to take the strap over the elbow, so just above the crease of the elbow. You're going to find your way onto your forearms on your mat. My strap's a little bit loose, which is probably better. My shoulders are tight. I'm going to adjust here. All right. So root down through your forearms, walk your feet back, and find plank on the forearms. So root into your palms, pull the chest forward. If the hips drop, lift the hips, spin the inner thighs up, tailbone back. Let's take 10 breaths. Can we do it? We're all counting at different paces, so just do the best you can. Push into those feet. Navel in. All right, I lost count, so I'm going to walk my feet in. Root through the palms, lift out of the shoulders, let the head hang. Maybe it rests on this strap. But just get into the upper back. All right, bring the knees down and rest. Okay, so I'm going to face the wall. You're welcome to do this without the wall. I don't know about you lately, but I've been so tired by the time I get to my inversions, I can't hardly ever do them anymore. So I'm going to use the wall, but also because in pincha, I'm going to bend my knees and move it more towards a scorpion. So I'm also not going to move my mat because I'm going to be a little further back from the wall because I want to have room to bend my knees. So let's just pretend that I'm upside down for a moment. And I bend my knees, my foot against the wall. I might even point my toes. I'm going to try to send my tailbone to the back of the knee. I'm going to try to pull my belly button in. So these are the things that we're going to find when we're upside down. Now, if you have shoulder issues, low back concerns, you just don't want to, you don't have a wall, do either legs up the wall, legs in the air, something that is restorative or an inversion for you. You might even have a headstand practice. So I'm going to take the strap over my elbows. I'm going to stay on my mat because I want that distance from the wall. I am going to let my hands be on the floor because I do want to shift the weight a little bit forward into my palms. I'm going to find my pose here. I'm going to tuck the toes under, lift out of the shoulders, and lightly kick to the wall. Okay, lift up and then bend your knees. So if you're too close, you wouldn't be able to bend your knees. Big toes touch. Try to lift your seat, lift your chest. And if you want, see if you can take the feet away and just balance in your scorpion. And then lower. Okay, how do we do? It's nice to do it again. At the very least, kick up with the opposite leg. So I don't remember, but I always know which leg I want to do, so I start with that and then I switch. I'm going to move a little bit further away from the wall, see how I do. All right. So let's see. That was the leg that wants to go up, so I'm going to do the other one. Oh, I can already tell my body's not ready. Oh, how is that so much harder? All right, bring yourself up. Bend your knees. Lift your seat. Pull the navel in. Lift out of the shoulders. Now, if you start to drop your feet, you've got to lift your seat. Belly in. Whew. All right, we did it. Go ahead and release. All right. So let's find my thing here. We're going to go ahead and come onto our bellies. And we'll do our last big back bend of this series before we move into the yin. All right, so lie on your belly. Turn your head to one side and just feel what was going on for you. How was that work in the back body? And if you can really get the work into your legs and upper back, you don't feel it as much in the low back. Okay, so forehead down. Push into your feet like we did in the beginning. Get your knees and shins to lift. Lift the shoulder heads. Lift the heart, raise the arms. Lift up through the triceps. Remember what it was like with those blocks. Raise the legs. You can stay here in Shalabhasana, spinning the inner thighs up. Or bend the knees, reach for the outer ankles, keep those legs in parallel, and then push the feet back to lift the chest. Navel in, find your breath. And if you're really finding your breath, you might be doing a little rocking. You can flex the feet, push them to the sky. And then slowly lower. Turn your head to one side. Feel your heartbeat. All right, last one. Push into your feet. Forehead down. Arms by your sides. Lift your heart and arms. Palms face. Raise the legs. Inner thighs spin up. Pinky toes down. Bend the knees if you'd like. Now the knees tend to go wide, so bring your legs in. Press the tailbone down. And then do your lifting. It's kind of challenging to talk on the belly. And lower. Turn your head to the other side. Feel your heartbeat. Bend your knees, wag your feet side to side. Press up hands and knees. Don't go to child's pose just yet. We need to give our back a little bit of TLC first. So slide the right leg forward into pigeon pose. If pigeon's not for you, thread the needle is fine. Just don't pull your knees all the way in like Apanasana. And then I'm going to start my timer just so that we know how long we're here. I'm going to be here 3 minutes. All right. So we really use these nice, deep, warming poses to get the body ready for when we move into these slower, more passive poses. Generally, they're cooling poses, but our muscles are nice and pliable now. Our joints are warm, and so we might find we're a little bit more successful in them here than had we started off in the beginning of our practice with, let's say, pigeon. And just enjoy the breath. I've been telling you that a lot through the practice, but we've been opening the heart. And when we open up the chest and the side ribs and the back body, Really, we're just opening up the whole thoracic cavity for our breath. The wider we can make the rib cage, the more breath we can get into the body. And so if you feel very open in the chest and you don't have very much breath, it can be emotional, it can be mental. You might be sort of doing something within that's resisting your intake of air. All right, now we're halfway through this pose. You can stay exactly as you are, but we have done the work. If you feel like binding or reaching for the back ankle, any of that work, go for it. That is like super sticky today. Everything's sticking. But for this final minute, just see where it is that you want to be. Does it make sense to do more of these back bends, or would you prefer to just be in your forward fold of your pigeon? We have 5 breaths left. All right, now in a moment when the timer goes off, we're going to roll to the side and move into a different hip opener. So if you're on your back, I'll give you a similar movement. So if you're in pigeon, sit up, lean to the right, so the weight is on the right hip, and then sweep the back leg around and on top. So setting up for our Gomukhasana or shoelace pose. Try to anchor the hip. If you don't sit evenly, you might end up sitting on a prop. Just gonna turn here. We're gonna stay with those 3 minutes. So sticking with the time, that's, I find often the challenge. For me, I'm able to sort of work through that challenge because I can see the time. I can kind of let myself know, okay, maybe just a few more breaths. But for you, it may feel really difficult just to settle and to stay still. So do the fidgeting you need, but then we want to commit to that stillness. So find a shape, any shape. So if you were on your back doing thread the needle, you might have just simply slid your left leg on top of your right. You can hold the calves or heels, or maybe you can even take this with legs at the wall. So find some version of this pose. Commit to the shape. And then just start to commit to the stillness. Now that doesn't mean you have to be all the way at the floor. Oftentimes I feel more than happy, more than enough tension sitting upright. And you're already a minute in, so a third of the way through this pose. Close the eyes and see if you can just connect with the breath. And this time your connection with the breath is counting the breath, like counting sheep. How many breaths do you count before you get distracted, you forget? Each time you realize you have, just start back over at 1. And we'll see where we get to these last 90 seconds. Alright. What breath count did you get to? I got to about 12 and then I forgot. So where were you in your cycle? Alright, as we unwind, we're going to do the same two on the other side. So pigeon pose, thread the needle, whatever you took. Left leg forward. You might restart the breath count. Your back bends, your twists are very invigorating. But our hope is that by the time we get here, you really feel like you're calming down a little bit, cooling off, really slowing down. As we are halfway through this pose, some of you stayed as you were, some of you took it into a back bend, binding. It made more sense to skip the back bend than just stay as you are. About 5 breaths left for 30 seconds. All right, now as before, we're moving into that outer hip stretch on the other side. So when the timer goes off, you're going to come up, lean left, and sweep the back leg around and on top. Or whatever version of this pose is working for you. And I can already feel that warmth on that bottom leg. That warmth is always circulation, which is really what our yin practice is about. All right, timer's already going. So our body as a system is really just dehydrating as we age. And that's part of the reason we feel so good after yoga practice is that we're bringing that circulation, hydration to the tissues, to the body. And because we do it in a very mindful way and we do follow the breath, it becomes very meditative. So we sort of clear that clutter of the mind, the chitta vrittis. And so we find that calmness, the stability. And so it really works on all levels. Your physical layer, your mental, your emotional layer. We have about 90 seconds left. Thirty seconds left. Alright, unwind, grab your strap. Let's take our final stretch. And oftentimes when we do heart openers, unfortunately the lower back does more of the work than it should. So this final pose is my favorite stretch to release the lower back, but hopefully we don't need it. This will just be a nice stretch. Okay, so take the strap over your right foot, reach it to the ceiling. Just lengthening my strap so I can hold on to it. Alright, so stretch out those hamstrings. If the low back is still tender, bend the left knee, otherwise it can straighten out on the floor. Just gently stretch those hamstrings, allowing the low back to be nice and stable. Alright, you can hold the straps into the right hand. Turn your toes out to the right. Open to the right. Now keep the left hip on the ground. So even if you're really flexible, in fact, what I like to do is set my elbow down and just hold my leg because I don't want to lower all the way down where the leg tips up. So I'm just going to hold the strap, set my leg in my hand, and just sort of hold the strap as well. But I like to not go as deep as I can here. Just remember, our focus is keeping the low back happy. And so we want to keep our pelvis on the ground. You can also put the strap over your left wrist, place that arm behind your back, and get a nice side body stretch as well. Gently release, bring that leg up, switch, cross the leg over, any version of this twist you'd like. Now the hip can lift, but the bottom leg is relaxed, and just enjoy your twist. Bring the leg up. Put the strap over your left foot and we'll finish our practice on the second side. Straps to the left hand. Let's open left. You can just take your time. We don't want to go in as deep. I have a wall, so we can use that. Or you can even take this strap over the right wrist. And in order to get this behind the head, you have to bend the elbow. Make a little fist to keep that strap there, and then I can get a nice side body stretch. And you may or may not have the right length of your strap, so if this is not making sense for you, sometimes it has to do with the length. Bring the leg up, cross it over, and let's enjoy our final twist. Bring yourself to center. Remove your strap. Take any finishing pose you'd like. If you want to stay on your back, you can just find happy baby. You can also take a nice seated forward fold, which is nice because we did all those twists and back bends. So the forward fold is a great way to end. Reaching up and folding forward. Be here about 10 breaths, wherever that is for you. Lead with your heart, come up, and then set yourself up for Shavasana. So if you have any low back sensitivity, again, sometimes that happens in these practices, maybe take legs up the wall or a little bit higher. I think I'm gonna do that today, why not? I think that's the space. So set up for Shavasana, whether it's at the wall or just more a traditional Shavasana. We'll be here for 3 minutes. If you have a sandbag to put over your feet, that's always nice, really grounding on the lower back. I'll set my timer this one last time for our 3-minute Shavasana. Okay. So find your way into your Shavasana, whatever it looks like. If it's legs up the wall, if it's flat on your back. The eyes close. Maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And use this time to really restore your energy. Opening the chest can feel very vulnerable, but heart opening is also very uplifting to the energetic system of the body. So sometimes we come to our mat and we don't feel great, we don't feel happy. But as we move through our practice, we feel our energy shift. And by the end of our practice, hopefully, we've created that little bit of care in the body. Let your whole practice just fall away and enjoy these final moments with your breath. Start to move fingers and toes. Arms overhead, maybe yawn. Bend your knees, make your way to your side. A moment to pause. And eyes closed or partially closed as you press upright to seated. Bring your hands to your heart in gratitude for all the time and energy you put into you today. Lift your heart, bow your head. Namaste.